So the question is, what we should do with the desires, which is the reason for the unfulfilled desire or the reason for the misery.
So first of all, what to do with the misery? Well, anyway, look at that. Are you right now miserable? Are you? So what is there to do about it? Only if something is existent, you can do something about it, isn't it? Does misery exist right now within you? No. That means once in a way you are creating it. Misery is not a constant state that you have to do something with it. What to do with my body? This is fine, because body is always there. What to do with this? What to do with my misery? There is no such thing. It doesn't exist. Once in a way you are creating it. Why are you creating it? Why? Why would anybody create misery for himself or herself?
It is more of automatic.
I'm sorry?
It is automatic, it's like not conscious, it happens.
It is not automatic. You are creating it, but you're creating it, you made such a pattern of creating it, it looks like it's happening by itself. Right now you're sitting here. Is misery automatic? When things go in a certain way and you think it's not okay, you create misery, isn't it? Physical pain is different. Suffering is different. I want you to understand the distinction. Physical pain is natural in the body and it's good for you. Physical pain is very good for you. When you're in pain, if I say this, you will get terribly angry with me. But I want you to look at this. Pain is a natural phenomenon in the body. If you had no pain in your body, right now the way you are, you do not have the necessary intelligence even to preserve your body. Please see this. Right now you're walking on the street, if a bicycle comes, you step back. Why? Is it out of your humility? No. Because you know if he comes and hits, the pain involved, you know the consequence. That is why you are stepping back, isn't it? Suppose there was no pain in your body at all. If a truck comes, you would just walk like this. Yes? Because there is pain, even if a bicycle comes, you step back. Otherwise, can you imagine how you would live? You would destroy yourself in no time. See, for example, we were looking at this other day in introduction also. See all this, which makes me look like a madman or whatever you think. Why did you cut off all these things? Only because there is no pain, is it so? No, it's fashion, it is hygiene, it is this, it's not true. The only reason why you have cut it is because there is no pain. Why you did not chop off your earlobes? Aren't they ugly sticking out like this? Why this nose? If you actually cut off your nose, you will take in 23% more oxygen and be so much more healthy. Do you know this? Why you have not cut it off? Because there is pain, isn't it? If there was no pain, in the name of your fashion, you would cut your liver and hang it out here. Yes or no? You think so. Do you see how far fashion is going? Wherever there is no pain, every possible thing they have done, isn't it? They cut this, left that, they cut that, left this. It all looks normal to you because everybody is like that. Now people are asking me questions, why are you growing your beard? I'm not growing it. Did I do it? For some reason, nature created you this way. Has nature given you anything in this which is not necessary for the system? You may not understand the functions of it, but is there anything which is not necessary for the system? Everything that's necessary only is there. It is just that because there is no pain, just imagine if there was no pain in your body, what you would have done to your body. You would have killed yourself in no time. So pain is good for you. Suffering is something that you create. There is no suffering in the existence. Suffering is only in your mind, isn't it? Isn't it so? Oh, how can there be pain and no suffering? You will see, if you're absolutely in a state of pure response, you will see there'll be only pain, no suffering. Suffering is impossible for a person who has no limits on his response. He is simply a response, no more a reaction. Everything is conscious. Now, there is no such thing as suffering. There are any number of examples. In my own life, I've gone through a surgery without any anesthesia. It had to happen because I was in a place where such facilities were not there. As the doctor is performing this, he is huffing and puffing. I'm having a conversation with him. After that, he asked me, "What is this? Is there no pain in your body? You're just talking to me." There is terrible pain, unbearable pain. But suffering need not be created. You can't just see the pain. It hurts, but it doesn't make you suffer. There's a distinction between the two. That distinction is not there because the necessary awareness has not come, that's all. The more famous examples are, for example, Jesus was crucified. Somebody was driving nails into his hands and legs, and it seems he said, "Forgive them, they know not what they're doing." Can a man say this if he's suffering? Does it mean there's no pain in his body? Probably his body is much more sensitive than most people. There is enormous pain, but there is no suffering. Because suffering is always self-created. It doesn't matter what kind of suffering you go through. Suffering is always 100% self-created. One who sees, I am absolutely responsible for everything that is, this being is free from suffering. This is the end of suffering. There can be no suffering in that being. Suffering has come because you're not in touch with truth. You're not in touch with fundamental realities of life. You are in half illusion, half experience state. You have assumed too many things. You have assumed yourself to be many things that you are not. You identified yourself with many things that you are not. That is why suffering is happening. You heard of, there are Tamil Nadu people, you heard of Sadashiva Brahmendra? Sadashiva is a Nirkaya. Nirkaya means a bodiless yogi. Does it mean he has no body? That's not the point. He has a body, but it's in his experience. There is no sense of body. This will happen to you. Some of you felt it today in parts of the body. When you're doing Shambhavi, some of you notice your hands or legs seem to be missing. Have you noticed this? Some part of your body seems to be missing. It's missing means it's not gone anywhere. It is just that when the energy gains a certain level of intensity, that part of the body raises beyond the limitations of the senses. And now, in your experience, it's like it's not there. One day it may happen, you're doing your Shambhavi, suddenly you find your body has disappeared. Don't get alarmed. When you open your eyes, it will be waiting for you. It cannot go anywhere. It is just that once the energy gets fired beyond a certain point, beyond a certain level of intensity, now you will have no sense of body. All your bondages, all your problems in the existence is simply because of your body. Is it so? All the limitations that you know upon yourself is just the body. If you can be here in the body and still not experience yourself as the body, you cannot experience right now, but can you imagine the volume of freedom one has? You're free from the very process of life and death, isn't it? Yes? Once you're not this body, once in your experience there's a clear space between you and the body, the very process of life and death cannot touch you anymore. So, misery is because you're unconsciously creating it. The only reason why anybody will create misery is because they know not what they're doing, isn't it? That means they're unaware. Only because you're unaware, you would cause misery to yourself. If you're aware, would you cause misery to yourself? Not at all, isn't it? So desire is just life trying to find its original nature.
What is prayer? And who should I pray and what for?
Prayer means you are making an attempt to speak to God. Yes? Isn't it so? You're making an attempt to speak to God. What kind of prayers do you do? Depending upon your culture, your family, accordingly that kind of prayer, isn't it? Now you come from traditional Indian family, you know some complex Sanskrit prayers, or Greek and Latin prayers, or some simple prayer in English or whatever. Depending upon what kind of background, that's the type of prayer. What language, what you do is not the point, but fundamentally you are making an attempt to speak to God. That's the attempt. All of you have prayed? Quite a lot? So you have done a lot of talking with God. Much talking you have done to God. Did you ever listen to Him? You did all the talking. You do one thing, after this program is over today, you visit your friend. Go there, sit for half an hour, you do all the talking. Don't allow your friend to say a single word. Next time you go and knock on his door, even if he's there, he will say, I'm not there. Yes or no? If you say 10 things, at least if you allow him to say one, some room for relationship. If you do all the talking, that's the end of your friendship. That's what has happened between you and God also. The moment He sees you, He acts like He's not there. Though He's right inside, He pretends with you as if He's not there. You knock and see, no answer. He's just pretending as if He's not there because you do all the talking. Much talking you have done. Anyway, if He is God, He anyway knows what nonsense you can speak before you speak, isn't it? So just shut up and listen. If He speaks, that's significant, isn't it? What will you speak? Give me this, give me that, protect me, save me. Beyond that, what will you speak? Same nonsense, isn't it? So, just learn to shut up and simply listen. That's the distinction between meditation and prayer. Prayer as an act is quite vulgar. If you have become prayerful in your attitude towards everything, that's beautiful. You know, there's a beautiful incident. After Ramakrishna Paramahamsa passed away, Vivekananda wants to go to United States to spread his master's message. So he came to see Sharada Devi to seek her permission. She was in the kitchen, things were cooking on the stove, and he went and asked her, like this, I want to go to United States to take his message to the people. So Sharada was busy cooking and she said, Naren, can you give me that knife? He just picked up and gave the knife. Sharada said, okay, you can go. Then he noticed everything is already on the stove, all cutting is over. But she asked for the knife. Then he said, why did you ask for the knife? I see everything is already on the stove. She just smiled. Just the way he gave his knife, she wanted to see whether he is fit to go or not. The way you do things can be extremely prayerful. Because you say blah 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 blah, that's not prayer. You have become prayerful in your attitude. With everything you have reverence. Not just with one thing. You must know this. In your life, if one thing is sacred, another thing is filthy, you're lost forever. There are two ways to grow. There are two ways to break your bondages. One thing is you see everything as sacred, or you see everything as absolutely filthy. Both ways it'll work. There are certain types of yogis who see everything as sacred. They bow down to just anything, a stone or a stick or a plant or an animal, they bow down. This is one type. There's another kind of yogi, every day in the morning gets up, he starts with the filthiest words for Shiva. Shiva, his mother, his father, everybody he abuses absolutely from morning to evening. Anything that he sees, whether it's a human being or a dog or an inanimate thing, he curses everything, including his God. He will grow faster, but it's a more difficult path. A path like that you can't live in social situations. So these are two choices, but in your mind, if one thing is sacred, another thing is filthy, you will miss the boat. So either you go this way, infinite or zero, both ways you'll get there, both are same. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're lost forever. Do you understand the fundamental mechanics of this?
How do people, with serious mental illness, how they responded to your processes, programs, residential program at the ashram? Is it something that one should recommend that they go through? What do you say?
If they're in a reasonably balanced condition where at least we can talk to them, they can understand what we are speaking, if they're in that condition, yes, we can definitely help. If they've gone beyond that they cannot even perceive what you're talking, they cannot be kept in one place, they're violent, first it's better to go through a phase of medication. When they come to reasonable control, then we could attempt something else.
This is I'm talking about people who are under medication and fairly stabilized.
Yes, such people definitely we can help. I don't want to say such things. There are any number of people who have come out of it. It does not mean all of them have come out of it. But one thing I can assure you, definitely we can lower the dosages of medicine within 3 to 6 months' time, significantly. All of it going away depends on what type of damage has happened in a particular individual. And for many people, their illness is circumstantial. Lot of psychological disorders are circumstantial. But for some, it's pathological. It's a different state altogether. So accordingly, it takes different amount of time. And another thing is, after we teach him something, how much support he has around him. Is somebody taking care to make sure he does these things? All these factors are there. But can he be helped in some way? Definitely. There's no question about that.
Skin or disorder, skin disorder also.
We can peel off the skin. There are certain pranayams and kriyas which will help. Yes. But once again, yoga is not a treatment, yoga is not a therapy, yoga is a discipline. If you bring it as a discipline into your life, health will come, but you don't use it like medicine.
Most of us, we have not seen God or have not felt God. So I would like to hear from you, what is God? Where is God?
From where did you get the idea of God, first of all? How did you get this idea? Huh? Belief system, all right. No, even the belief system, when I say you, I'm not meaning you as a person. Okay, even to develop this belief system, from where did we get this idea?
Society, culture.
Where did the society get the idea from? That's what I'm asking. See, that's there. See, the culture is propagating, leave that. Not just one culture, every culture in the world is propagating, isn't it so? Maybe different types of gods, but every culture in the world is propagating God, isn't it so? Yes or no? Everything. Whether an Eskimo or a pygmy or an Indian person or an American person, everybody has been propagating God. Maybe different descriptions, but they have been propagating. So some common factor must have triggered this whole thing, isn't it? What is it? Now suppose you were the first person on this planet, okay? You're sitting here, suddenly dumal it goes and water just pours on you. You have no home, nothing, you're just sitting open. Now you run, trying to hide from this because it's affecting your body. Then that goes off and sun comes up and blazes like hell. Then something happens and fire comes, this comes, wind comes. You don't know where one thing begins and the other thing ends. You have no perception. All this happening. So whatever affected your life, all that you called God, fire God, sun God, wind God, do you know? Vayu Deva, Agni Deva, Varuna Deva, whatever. All this is calling everything as God. There's another dimension to it, like I was just saying, to develop reverence towards all aspects of life. We call everything Deva. You should see a tree, tree God, dog, dog God, snake, snake God, cow, cow God. So that you bring reverence in you towards all life. That is a good thing. As a device, it's fantastic. So I'm not talking about device, I'm talking about the basic idea of God. Fundamentally, you were born. You don't know how, isn't it? When you were born, you don't know how. Even you don't know how. Okay, how you got this body between your parents, that is different, that you know. But how life is coming here, you do not know. You're born and you look around, so much creation. Your eyes cannot grasp it, that much creation. Before you came, somebody did all this. Obviously, there must be somebody who is doing all this, isn't it? If you just look like this, nothing in the land today, tomorrow morning, life is coming. Yes? One drop of rain, simply full of life is bursting forth, this is happening, that's happening. You can't believe all this can be happening without somebody playing the puppeteer. So, you thought somebody must be doing all this. You looked around, you could not find anybody. You need to understand, certain cultures in the world, God means they look up. There are certain cultures in the world, God means they look down. Do you know this? This, between looking up cultures and looking down cultures, we have always found looking down cultures are more sensible cultures. Looking up cultures become blatant, because God is up there. And after some time, somebody claims that he's his representative here. And finished, things will start happening.